Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle, and I am joined by my co-host, Michael Hall,
What's up?
and special guest, Nathan Coleman. Thank you so much for joining us for this reactionary pod, Nathan.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on.
It's not an exciting one, Nathan, to say the least. It's a 31-17 loss to the Baltimore Ravens. Look, the team altogether just seemed like they weren't in it from the start. The Ravens jumped up early and just kind of extended their lead. What's your immediate reaction to the loss? Your biggest takeaway from the game?
Yeah, I think you saw the most pass attempts of Dwayne Haskins' career, the most passing yards, a kind of solid yards per attempt. It's nothing sexy, but I think that's a stepping stone. It definitely wasn't regression. So
Yeah.
on the defensive side, it was really just big plays. Overall, I think they only gave up about 330 yards. That's not bad for Baltimore. It was just big plays on third down, special teams, conversions. Overall, they just didn't put it all together, but it could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely. Looking at the stats, taking away that 50-yard touchdown run by Lamar Jackson, this defense actually held their running game to under 100 yards. That being said, it was a controlling effort by the Baltimore Ravens. So let's go to you, Hall. What was your immediate reaction to that game?
Yeah, nothing really major. I liked what I saw from Dwayne as far as he didn't turn the ball over. It looked like to me he was going through his reads. I would have liked a little bit of more shots down the field
Early, often, yeah.
early and often, exactly. My
The third,
takeaway was Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin. We got something right
yeah.
there. Those are the pillars of the offense. We need to start building around them. I think the defense, we get another cornerback and someone in the secondary. I think we shore that up, and those are the stepping stones that we need. But as far as the game overall, like you said, we held them as far as the big plays kind of killed us.
Yep.
But the rushing game, I was expecting them to kill us in that. We kind of held our ground as far as that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we wanted Lamar to beat us to the passing game, and he did it. So kudos to him.
Yeah, and to your credit, Kendall Fuller with those two crucial interceptions,
Yeah.
he had a big game. Dwayne Haskins, 32 of 45, 314 yards, and that rushing touchdown at the end of the game. Antonio Gibson, though, he was on another level with 13 carries, 46 yards, and a touchdown. And then with 4 receptions for 82 yards, he really showed that he can be the stable force in this offense. And then you can't talk about this offense without bringing up Terry McLaurin with 10 receptions for 118 yards. I think the offense altogether, you can look at it and say, yeah, they had a good game. But in the beginning of the game, the third down conversions, I believe at one point they were 2 for 8. And I believe that was the difference in that game early on, because the Ravens in the second half were almost like lackluster. I mean, they started RG3 at one point. You know what I mean? If you could point to something, Nathan, what do you think was the end game for this?
Yeah, I think you nailed it talking about third down. Going into this game, they rank 11th in third down yardage to go, which is excellent. That's a huge improvement from last year, but they rank 28th in third down conversion. So something's got to give there. And it's a matter of winning on early downs and creating efficient opportunities for Haskin to convert it. But I think he's kind of struggling, and they still don't have guys who can just win one-on-one. That was today with Gibson. I mean, like you can't hand it off to him every play and expect him to beat 3 or 4 guys, but you get a catch. All he has to beat is a defensive back or a linebacker one-on-one, and he can do that most of the time.
Yeah, and they were 4 of 13 on third down today, which is the big indicator there. Now, that being said, you bring up the Ravens on third down. They were 5 of 11. They weren't much better, but the fact is they had the big plays downfield that they were able to score on. And, you talk that one punt, that fake punt, I knew that was coming from a mile away. I saw it, and I was like, this is it. You're in the enemy's territory. It's a long fourth down. Why wouldn't you? But credit to Cook, because that was a perfect ball. I mean, what can you say about that play?
Hey, listen to this. They saw on NFL.com he's completed all 7 of his career passes, 100% of the time. I mean, that's insane, and he's good.
Yeah, I mean, look, like you just said, 100% of the time, seven out of 7. What can you say? I mean, like you said, you smelled it from a mile away. Unfortunately, they converted it. Hey, like you said, good call by Harbaugh. So Nothing you can really do about that. That's like it's like
Yeah.
one of those once in a blue moon type of things where it's just like really.
It was such a good play by them. All you can do is just because I'm pretty sure at the special teams for the Washington football team, they actually dropped back 2 guys in the middle of the field to make sure there wasn't gonna be a fake. They weren't expecting, a hitch route on the outside, which was very executed very well. Lots of credit to the Ravens for doing that because look, they profited off of Andrews' touchdown, which was a big touchdown for them to be able to spread it out. And look, he had a big day. We thought he was going to with 2 touchdowns. But you thought they were going to be able to contain it. But look, Andrews balled out yet again.
Yeah, I mean, the team is known for giving up a lot of big plays to tight ends. That's been an Achilles heel of this defense for not just this year, but just going back many years. So you kind of expected Mark Andrews to have a big day. That's Lamar Jackson's number 1 favorite target anyway. So yeah, he killed us definitely down the seams and killed us in between the hashtags, or not the hashtags, but the
in between the hashes.
In between the hashes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. But Hall, let's keep it with you though. If like I asked Nathan, what do you think? If you could point to something in this game, what do you think was the tipping point? If you could point to something and say this is the reason why they lost.
Nah, you guys hit it right on the head. The third downs. I mean, coming into this has been again another Achilles heel of the offense, just not for this year, but many years leading up to this. Right now, we don't have many people that can win one-on-one outside of Terry McLaurin, Jerry McKissick. Every once in a while, obviously Gibson in the passing game got involved today, but definitely the third downs killed us today. And again, on third down, getting off the field, giving our defense a little bit of rest, converting third downs on offense to give like I said, the defense some rest. So I think it was third downs on offense and third downs on defense that killed us today.
Yeah, and also you can point to sacks. Only 1 sack on the day for Lamar Jackson. Lots of credit to John Bostic. 14 tackles on the day, 6 solo. He was flying around the field. Troy Apke had a good play early on. It's hard because you saw glimpses of good play here and there. Nate, where was somebody that you thought stood out today that played well?
I mean, Kendall Fuller.
Yeah.
He's not accustomed to playing on the outside. His 1 year in Kansas City when we traded him, he played primarily on the outside, and the Chiefs had one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and he was probably one of the worst cornerbacks. He's a lot more accustomed to playing in the slot or even playing safety on occasion, but you got to give him credit. With Baltimore, they're obviously it's complicated to stop them, but they only have 2 focal points on offense. It's just Andrews. They don't throw to their running backs. They don't have a secondary receiver of no. You got Boykin, you got Snead and Duvernay. None of those guys you have to worry about. So I was kind of surprised they didn't bracket Andrews more and maybe just you could cover Brown one-on-one and stack guys in the box. But I was kind of surprised by that. It's like they were every time you get in the red zone, it's like to look for Andrews, and it's like they were shocked when he's open. But I was disappointed there. But yeah, I thought Fuller had a good day, and he's kind of like a Swiss Army knife a little bit, right? But, like the defensive version of Antonio Gibson. You can put him at safety, you can put him in the slot, you can put him on the outside, and that frees up some flexibility for your other players like Moreland to play on the inside.
Yeah, and lots of credit. Tim Settle got the only sack on the day for the Washington football defense. He showed out. Yeah. Jonathan Allen did very well today as well. In the run game, he was stifling guys. Who was somebody that stood out for you, Hall? As much as I know this is a loss, but I did see some good things out of this Washington team today.
Yeah, you named him, and you were naming off the guys on defense. Tim Settle was the guy that stood out for me. He definitely flashed across the TV screen every time I looked up. He was in the backfield causing havoc. Like you just mentioned, he got the 1 sack on the day. I mean, obviously he's not Matt Ioannidis, but there's not much drop-off when you got a big rotation like that coming in on defensive line like that. So definitely Tim Settle was one of the guys that stood out for me. So kudos to him.
Yeah, and it just sucks because this game altogether, it just seemed like this team was on another level. It sucks as you want to say it. It just seemed like it was a good team that was put together that knew what they were doing. Where with Washington on offense, they still struggled to be able to move the football early on, and especially on crucial downs like we have already alluded to, unfortunate enough. But before we go out of here, guys, we have to ask the question, Dwayne Haskins, do you think that he impressed the coaching staff enough to say that he progressed in this game? Let's go to you, Nathan, first.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to stick with them. You didn't really see any turnovers, and it doesn't just come down to turnovers. It's more than that. A big thing I noticed is, and I've noticed this all year, they have to have methodical drives just to get the ball into the red zone. It takes, I think, one play. The last play was it was 17 plays for 82 yards, and they didn't score a touchdown. They could have kicked a field goal, but they decided to go for it on 4th and goal. But they when it takes that long to score, what that tells me is you don't have explosive players. And it just so happens they rank 26 in explosive plays per game. They don't have guys who can go the distance. You have to be surrounded by that. You see that in Baltimore. They have guys who can break tackles and create something out of nothing. So I think that's one area they could improve on.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Hall? Do you agree with Nate that this coaching staff's looking at this like this was a progression?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where I feel like Dwayne didn't do anything to win us the game per se, but he also didn't do anything to lose us the game. So it's like kind of again, Alex Smith is kind of his mentor. It's kind of the Alex Smith thing where he just did enough to kind of keep us in the game, but he didn't really do enough to get us into the game or whatever. So I think they're definitely going to stick with him as long as he's not turning the ball over like he did last week and kind of regressing, as Ron Rivera kind of referred to like that. Like I said before, I kind of referenced before, it looked like to me he was definitely going through his regressions and kind of looked like he was hitting the right guys, but it was just it was all kind of short game and nothing really down the field. Again, I wish we would kind of take more shots down the field because obviously with Terry McLaurin, someone like that, you have the definitely the big play type of offense or the type of offense. I don't know, sorry, but I was gonna say. But yeah, like I said, all in all, Dwayne didn't have a bad game, but he definitely didn't have a great game. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully, going into next week, they're gonna show a little bit more against the Rams.
And essentially, what you are saying is that this was a total team loss. And I think that is probably the best way to say it because, as much as you want to critique the offense and say they didn't do third down conversions, the defense also, I thought one of the keys for the Washington to win this football game was limiting big plays. And they didn't do that. Some of those big plays led to a lot of points being scored. Now it was a difference in this game, in my opinion. They lost by 14 points and 2 huge plays to Malcolm Brown, I thought, and then the touchdown run to Lamar Jackson. Those were the differences in this game, in my opinion, and it sucks to say for everyone out there. But look, you can't kill Dwayne. I don't think he took a step back in this game. This is a team thing, and as much as everyone wanted to make a big deal about Dwayne last week, I don't think it's going to be the same this week. He did something to solidify himself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this quick reactionary pod. I know we all got stuff to do. I really appreciate you coming by, Nathan. I know usually you don't have your data and your stats like you usually do until Tuesday, so I'm going to make sure to get you on again so that way we get you up and running with some full arsenal of stats.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely. All right, I'm Kyle.
I'm Hall.
All right, everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday again. Thank you so much, Nate. We'll see you guys. Washington football. Woo!